What do you think happened?
Well, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
No, I just think we got to get back to the basics, technique and fundamentals. We had over 20 missed tackles, missed field on several runs, and we just didn't play really good football, Clemson football defense. We've got to do a better job of getting back to the basics and work on technique and fundamentals, and that's what makes the schemes work. Just being able to do just the little things, and we talked about it today as a staff. Coach Sweeney challenged us, man, we got to do the little things in order for us to be great, and we can't have missed tackles in any no given week. And then you got a team like Syracuse, who's probably one of the best backs we've seen all year, coming into our house here Saturday. So, and that starts today. Got to get back on it tonight at practice.
When you look at Syracuse film, I mean, the quarterback Schrader and Tucker in the backfield, that's a pretty big 1-2 combo right there for them.
Yes, man. They're playing some really good football. This Syracuse team is one of the best I've seen. I've always followed them during my years as a pro. Obviously playing Clemson every year, they're giving us problems. So they're a really good football team. If you mentioned the quarterback, man, he does it all. He can do it all. The running back is, like I said, he's the best back we'll probably see this year. And does a lot of good things. He has great vision, great tackles, can run them outside, run them inside, and he can catch it out of the backfield. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us this week. And so we got to play some really good football and get back to those details that I mentioned earlier. And got to do a good job swinging the ball.
And not necessarily called runs, but Garrett Schrader seems like if he feels the least bit of pressure, he will take off and he will go. So how do you kind of, hey, you have to stay in your gap, you have to stay in your spot, but also be, kind of cognizant that he'll take off anytime.
Yeah, I think we just got, the back end and the rush working together. We just got to make sure we do a good job of trying to contain this guy, keep him in the pocket, and be real coordinated with our rush. And when we bring pressure, got to get home. But he's not going to stand there. Obviously, he's going to try to escape out the pocket, and we got to do a good job trying to get him on the ground. And that just comes with good team defense. But we got to practice that, on a day-to-day basis. It starts today in practice. They got to do a really good job of just rallying to the football, and because those type of quarterbacks and running backs can make you miss, and he does a really good job of that, of evading pressure and getting the ball out quick and making the plays he's supposed to make. And so he's one of the better ones I've seen all year, and so it's going to be a challenge. And it's no surprise that they've been doing really good offensively because of obviously the quarterback and the entire offense is just playing really good football.
Coach Sweeney was talking about Wes obviously being a really nice guy, but just being more demanding of the players, and I'm guessing maybe the staff. I mean, what does it be like as a boss when you guys are trying to sort out certain issues?
You said, what is Wes like?
Yeah.
Wes is a quiet storm. He's a little storm. He's not as quiet, but he is constantly making adjustments on the sideline. He challenges our guys every day in meetings. Definitely, and I just call him, he's like Rob and I'm big, and so, I got his back, and when he's yelling, I'm yelling, so, obviously, it's a team effort, team sport, man, but, as a boss, man, I love working for him. He's done a tremendous job this year, and I think it's as important as, our job as position coaches, man, to help him as much as possible and be servants in any way that he needs us to be. And I think we work really well together, and I love working for him. I think he's done a hell of a job this year, and just trying to put our guys in a position to make plays, and just trying to each week, man, just accept the challenge every week. I think we've done a better job just continue to challenge our players day in and day out, every day and everything that we do, and so that we can get their best ball. And so I think it's important for me and for the rest of our staff and for West, man, just be the best versions of ourselves. Be great teachers, be great leaders, and our players will follow.
Beyond the missed tackles and misfits, were there times when Florida State was blocking you guys and covering you up more than you would like?
Absolutely, man. Those guys got after us. The game of football comes down to one-on-one matchups, and you can draw it up any way you want, but it's going to come down to you winning your one-on-one matchup, and that's going to be the case every single week, and that's just the game of football. And so there were times, man, where they just matched us up and wanted it more than we wanted it. And that showed up on tape up front, on the back end. They made some plays. But, you know, it starts up front. And so, you know, I got to do a better job of challenging our guys. And, you know, I put a lot of, pressure on the guys up front. Hey, man, we got to do a great job of knocking things back, getting off blocks up front, man, and create clear lanes for our running backs to come, for our linebackers to come down here to make plays. I just think we didn't do a consistent good job of that, and the level of expectation, for me, here at Clemson, I mean, it's high. I want our guys to play at a high level. We just didn't do that consistently versus Florida State. Like I said earlier, man, too many yards out of contact, guys missing, sack opportunities. We had a penalty on the quarterback with Rook, and had a missed safety sack opportunity with Brazee, down when the ball's backed up. We let them get out of there, and so, just got to accept the challenge and got to get guys better. And it starts with me challenging the day in meetings and going out to practice and coaching them hard and getting to do all the little small details that we need to do to be successful. But yeah, you've got to win those one-on-one matchups, and it comes down to technique and fundamentals. And at the end of the day, man, it's just how bad you want it more than your opponent. It starts inside your heart. I'm not the Wizard of Oz of Jesus. Some things you got to be born with, but it's my job to make sure guys are ready. And whatever I did last week, I got to do a better job this week. Just didn't think guys were consistently ready to go out there and play through 4 quarters and dominate like the expectation of our defensive line should be. So I've got to do a better job of that. It starts with me.
So how do you assess the performance of your position group, not only Saturday, but just overall this season?
I think we've been on a roller coaster. I think we've had good weeks and bad weeks and good weeks and bad weeks. And, as a group, I'm not just basing that off of, 1 or 2 players. There's some guys that are playing some really good football this year. They mentioned Tyler Davis. He's been really consistent in his performance all year. But at the end of the day, man, we're all in this together. And in order for us to get where we're trying to go, in order for us to, beat a great team like Syracuse on Saturday, man, everybody's got to show up week in and week out. I just think we're just being inconsistent, level play, man. We just got to have the eye of the tiger, be able to dominate, dominate our opponents. I really feel like our offense, man, has just been really doing a really good job this year, just making plays. And I feel like at times, man, we haven't done a good job defensively, just maximizing the opportunities, man, when we get up on teams, man, to keep them down. Just kind of, let off. And so, man, we just got to work on today at practice to start to finish everything that we do. And that's got to be our mindset, moving forward.
I know you haven't seen the guys much since Saturday night, but did you get a feeling that they were as upset and bothered by this as you were?
Absolutely. They probably knew that, how I expressed that in my emotions on the sidelines, during the game. It just was very disappointing, obviously. And, like I said, I have a high level of expectation for the dudes we have in this room, man. We got some of the best talent in the country. I talked about that in all season. And so it starts with me, just to continue to challenge those guys, man, to be the best version of themselves and not really look at the score. It's always 0-0. And when you step out there, man, it's a blade of grass and you got to defend it. And so, we got to get better I got to get them better, and so just being really inconsistent and, we got to do a better job of, making the big plays, getting to the quarterback, not getting on the ground, getting there, how to run it back, just not tackling and driving through contact. And so it comes down to the little things, and we just got to overemphasize that and continue to challenge, man, play together, because we got dudes that can do it. We got some of the best depth in the country, and, it starts with the mindset. Mindset's got to be right.
Considering how much talent is in your room,
Yes.
on the chaos of the sidelines, how do you've got everything going on. How do you figure it out? Because you've got Edmonds, Rook, Tyler Davis, Brian Brzee, Peyton Page, Trey, they all deserve to play.
Absolutely.
How do you sit there and figure out, all right, now Peyton, you go grab 2 snaps, or Edmonds, or you go grab 2 snaps, or is it a feel thing? Do you have an idea going into a game?
Well, I've never been the type of coach to, have somebody start counting reps. I think it starts in practice on a day-to-day basis. I think you earn the right to play by how you practice during the week. And, practice is about building up trust in what you're doing. And You know, we put together a plan, and it starts in practice today, man. You're going out, you're trying to, you know, getting guys to execute, and the guys who execute and make the minimal mistakes and errors, and the guys who get better throughout the week and understand our plan and understand what to do, and he's got the eye of the tiger and going to work hard. The guys are going to play, you know, and then obviously in the game floor, in the floor of the game, I mean, I can feel guys. You know, I talk to them about, hey, I can't feel you. You know, I can feel guys who are really, you know, locked in. They're making plays. They're in their gap. They're making plays. Their energy is great. You look in their eyes. You know, I'm big and looking at body language. You know, even when things go wrong, I'm looking at the body language of guys, looking in their eyes. I'm looking to see who's talking, trying to motivate. And those guys are generally guys who can take most of the snaps. And you know, then I'm looking at some of the guys who are just look like they've just been in World War II. You know, just a blank stare. And that's not good for me. You know, and so. You know, and I get it. Sometimes, you know, things are going to happen in the floor of the game. It's every week. Something's going to happen, right? But it's like about how can you recover from that? You know, how do you handle adversity? And, you know, and so, you know, based upon playing time, it's a feel for me. You know, I don't, you know, count the reps, and generally it kind of just plays out. You know, our best guys take majority of the reps, and then you got the guys who are rotating in. And like you said, man, all of our guys deserve to play. But when you got a lot of talent, man, it's hard. You know, it's not going to be evenly distributed reps, you know, and but I think it's just based upon how guys practice throughout the week.
What are some of the benefits when you go up against a quarterback like Jordan Travis, knowing in the future guys like Schrader, Cunningham, same kind of dynamic quarterbacks in the future?
Mm-hmm. You know, it just really, I mean, he's probably one of the better quarterbacks we faced, you know, up until that point. In terms of scrambling, I just think, you know, we faced a lot of quarterbacks can really get out of the pocket, make some things happen with their legs. And but it was really good to get that on tape. I think we learned from our mistakes. We learned a lot about, you know, what happens, you know, when you're not disciplined with your rush lanes. Quarterbacks like that can hurt you and can gain yards, can keep drives, you know, can keep drives going. And so I think it's going to be a very teaching moment today as we go in and you know, start looking at Syracuse, and you know, this quarterback will be you know, better than the next. I mean, you know, every time, man, you're undefeated. You know, it becomes harder each week because, you know, people are trying to knock your head off, you know, and so, you know, I look back on the times that I've, you know, been a really, you know, part of great defenses, and, you know, being in Pittsburgh, being undefeated, and how hard, you know, harder those practices got each week, because you know every week, man, somebody's coming in trying to take you down, and so it becomes harder, but, you know, I think it was good preparation with what Florida State, you know, how they challenged us, man. We was able to run the ball, and most teams haven't been able to do that all year. And you know, and now, you know, we got to face another good running back, another good quarterback that can really get out the pocket and do some things. So we learned a lot, you know, from facing a quarterback at FSU, and then obviously the running back. I mean, one of the best we've seen, you know, coming up from Syracuse is going to be a challenge for us. And you know, we just had our worst game, and I just happen to have the run game coordinator here to do interviews today. So. You know, it's gonna be a challenge for me, but I'm excited, you know, about it, about the challenge. So I'm gonna really challenge our guys today and throughout the week to be great finishers, to be great at the details and the little things.
Nick, having been part of some pretty good teams at some different levels, is this a team that you still trying to learn, develop a killer instinct at this point?
Absolutely. I mean, that's no surprise. You know, we got to learn how to finish the game and have a killer instinct. I really truly believe that, you know, no matter what level you're on, you're always going to constantly be developing your players. You never arrive as a player. I think that gives me a benefit of being a, you know, former NFL player, former NFL coach, and been around a lot of coaches, a lot of great football players, and you're always going to be constantly trying to develop, you know, work on your craft. But that killer instinct you talked about, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I'm not, you know, Wizard of Oz, and I'm not Jesus. You know, I think, you know, sometimes that comes with the demeanor of who you are as a person, you know, and that's your DNA. You know, and I understand everybody's not leaders, but it's my job as a coach to get that out of our players, to show them what does the killer instinct look like. You know, what does the killer instinct look like in somebody's eyes, you know, and give them examples and lead them to show them how to find that eye of the tiger, that killer instinct, man, when our offense is doing really good, and to be able to go in and shut teams out and capitalize off of, you know, being in a situation where we're backed up. You know, we can't allow, you know, teams to, you know, drive the field. And just starts with us as coaches, man. And, you know, Coach Sweeney has challenged us as a defensive staff, and that's that's what I love about him, man. He challenged us to be better, you know, in everything that we're doing, and I think it makes us better coaches and better leaders.
Coach, Brian Brzee has been through so much.
Yes.
Where is he mentally, physically, you think?
Oh man, that's been kind of a touchy area for me as well. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of loss, and I go back and I think about when I was 30 years old and I lost my mom to breast cancer, my last year in the NFL, and how difficult that was for me. And, at that point in time, I've been through a lot in my life. You take Brian that just turned 21 years old, and to go through that and watch your little sister, that was a tough deal. I think that he's getting better, day by day. We have conversations here and there, man. I just think that the love and the atmosphere and him being at Clemson is where he needed to be, man. We are a faith-based culture, so he knows that he has a lot of love from all of us, the players, the staff, our head coach, this university. The support has been huge, so I think that's helped him get through this, But I know it's a struggle for him, man, but he's shown up, going to work, and just pushing through it. So I feel really proud of the way he's handled himself, and so I think he's getting better, day by day. But we're all human, and when you go through things like that, you can only imagine that it's probably tearing him up on the inside. You lose your little sister, and watch her go through that, man. It's really tough. I can only go by just my conversations, his demeanor, how he's been in practice, and I think all those things have been really, really good in terms of what I've seen thus far from him. But he's ready to go, and we're going to help him be the best version of himself. We're going to pray with him. We're going to love on him and help him get through this season, man, together. And we're all in it. I mean, he hurt, we hurt. But at the end of the day, when you're personally going through that, it is a difference, I've lost a sister, before, but she wasn't, 15 years old. She was, 48 years old, and so that's a touchy subject, very difficult conversation to talk about. But he's doing a lot better.
Can you see a scenario where maybe he needs to be around his Clemson family next year before he goes pro? Does he need more time before he does that?
I think that's hard to say at this point in time. I think that, the biggest thing for Brian is just, for him to be in the moment where he's at right now. That's not a conversation that we've had or even thought about. Brian is just, thinking about trying to beat Syracuse right now. Those conversations that came about, man, we got a long time before that comes, and we're just trying to focus on Syracuse and beating Syracuse this week, and then after the season's over with, I think we have those conversations then. But right now, man, we're just gonna focus on being in the now, and we got a really good football team in Syracuse that's coming into our stadium this week, and gotta be prepared for them.
Nick, because I love college football so much, I love the big personalities. And when I see you lead the big uglies out of the locker room, and
So
you're fired
you're
up.
saying I'm a big ugly.
You a big ugly,
All right.
no doubt about it.
I accept that.
Where does that energy and that excitement and the love of the game, where does that come from?
Leading out the offensive line and D-line is something that I started, at the Georgia Tech game.
Right.
I was just really excited to be back here. It's been 20 years since I've been at Clemson. I told the guys, for me, I just took it upon myself. I'm like, listen, I am coming out of this tunnel. It's my first game back. I'm back as a coach. I'm gonna have my hat backwards with my shades on in the Georgia Dome. I'm back in my hometown, not my hometown, but I'm in my home state. And I was like, I'm leading you guys out. And so, man, I came out, and it was, I had chill bumps. I'm like a kid in the candy shop. I felt like I came out of my first Super Bowl, and then after that, guys like, Coach, where you at? Put your hat backwards, let's go. And so I've been doing that, every week, man. Just, I come in the locker room and give them some words of encouragement, man, and we walk out there, and it's really empowering. But as you can see, I came out my hat backwards a few times, and we just didn't get the job done on the level that I would like for us to see us dominate. And so we just got to do a better job, man, just maintaining that energy for 4 quarters, and just having an eye of the tiger.
All right, so I need to get Coach Streeter in here so we can remain on schedule. If anybody has any separate follow-ups for Nick, y'all can get him down on the